Mark first saw Sarah at a coffee shop. It was a typical Tuesday afternoon, and he had just stepped in for his usual cup of coffee. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, and the soft hum of conversations created a cozy atmosphere. As he scanned the room, his eyes landed on Sarah, who was sitting alone by the window, engrossed in a book. He was immediately drawn to her. There was something about the way she seemed so content in her own world that captivated him. Her presence was magnetic, and he couldn't help but steal glances at her from across the room. She was beautiful and had a warm smile. Her eyes sparkled with a kind of inner joy, and her smile was infectious. It was the kind of smile that could light up a room and make everyone around her feel at ease.
We started talking and found we had a lot in common. It was as if we had known each other for years. We talked about our favorite books, movies, and even our dreams and aspirations. The conversation flowed effortlessly, and time seemed to stand still. She was witty, intelligent, and seemed to hang on my every word. Her laughter was like music to my ears, and her eyes would light up every time I said something she found amusing. It was clear that she was genuinely interested in what I had to say. I was flattered by her attention. It had been a long time since I felt this way about someone. Her genuine interest in the way she made me feel appreciated was something I had been missing in my life.
Mark felt an instant connection with her. It was as if they were meant to meet that day. The more they talked, the more he realized how much they had in common. It was rare to find someone who shared his interests and values so closely. He thought she might be the one. The thought of a future with her filled him with hope and excitement. He could see himself building a life with her, sharing both the good times and the challenges.
I was excited to see where this new relationship would lead. The possibilities seemed endless, and I couldn't wait to explore them with her. Every moment spent with her felt like a new adventure. I had been single for a while, and I was ready to meet someone special. I had been waiting for the right person to come along, and it felt like Sarah was that person. She was everything I had been looking for, and more.
Sarah seemed too good to be true. She was confident, kind, and had a zest for life that was truly inspiring. Mark couldn't believe his luck in meeting someone so perfect. She was everything he ever wanted in a woman. Her presence brought a sense of completeness to his life that he hadn't felt before. He admired her strength, her intelligence, and her unwavering positivity. They started dating regularly, and Mark was falling for Sarah quickly. Each date brought them closer, and their bond grew stronger with each passing day. They shared countless laughs, deep conversations, and unforgettable moments. It was clear that their connection was something special, and Mark was eager to see what the future held for them. From the very beginning, Sarah showered Mark with affection. Romantic dinners, thoughtful gifts, and constant praise became the norm.
I basked in the glow of her adoration. I felt like I was on top of the world.
Mark, you are the most amazing man I have ever met. I have never felt this way about anyone before.
Mark soaked it all in. He believed everything Sarah said. He felt so lucky to have found her. He thought their love was real and special. He didn't realize he was being love-bombed. This intense affection was a tactic Sarah used to control him. As the honeymoon phase of the relationship began to fade, Sarah's behavior changed. The compliments became less frequent. Subtle criticisms about Mark's appearance, his hobbies, even his friends crept into their conversations.
I would try to please Sarah. I changed my clothes, my hobbies, even my friends. I wanted to make her happy.
But nothing he did was ever good enough. Sarah would get upset if Mark spent time with his friends. She would question his choices and make him doubt himself.
I felt increasingly anxious and insecure. I couldn't understand what had happened to the loving woman I met.
Sarah began to deny things she had said or done. If Mark tried to bring up a disagreement, she would twist the situation around.
You're misremembering things. You're being too sensitive. That's not how it happened.
This is called gaslighting. It's a form of emotional manipulation.
I started to question my own sanity. I wondered if I was imagining things. I felt trapped and alone.
The confident, self-assured man he once was had vanished. He was a shell of his former self. Sarah's manipulation had taken a toll on his mental health. Section 5. A glimmer of recognition, seeing the pattern.
A turning point came when I was talking to my friend.
He was confiding in her about his relationship with Sarah.
His friend listened patiently to his story, then she gently pointed out the patterns of manipulation.
She explained that Sarah's behavior was not his fault.
She described her own experience with a narcissistic individual. She explained how narcissists operate.
Suddenly, things became clearer for Mark. He saw his relationship with Sarah in a new light. He realized he wasn't the problem. Sarah was. Section 6. Finding the courage to break free. A turning point. This is the moment when everything changes, when the weight of realization becomes too heavy to ignore, and the path forward becomes clear. Recognizing the truth about Sarah's behavior was a painful realization for Mark. It was as if a veil had been lifted, revealing the harsh reality he had been blind to for so long.
I had invested so much in the relationship. Every moment, every memory felt like a betrayal. I had believed all the lies Sarah had fed me, and it was devastating to accept that it was all a facade. I had believed all the lies Sarah had fed me. Each deceitful word, each false promise, had built a world of illusion that I had lived in for far too long.
But with the support of his friend, Mark found the courage to confront Sarah. His friend had been a pillar of strength, offering a shoulder to lean on and words of wisdom that guided him through the storm. He stood up to her manipulation. It was a moment of empowerment, a declaration of his self-worth, and a refusal to be controlled any longer.
He told her he wouldn't tolerate her behavior anymore. It was a line drawn in the sand, a boundary that he was determined to uphold.
Sarah, as expected, denied everything. Her denial was a desperate attempt to cling to the control she had over him. She tried to turn the tables and make Mark feel guilty. Her accusations were sharp, her words designed to wound and manipulate.
But Mark stood his ground. He knew his worth. He had come too far to be swayed by her tactics. He deserved to be treated with respect. He ended the relationship. It was a painful decision, but it was also liberating. For the first time in a long time, he felt a sense of peace and clarity. He deserved to be treated with respect. He ended the relationship. As he walked away, he felt a weight lift off his shoulders. It was the beginning of a new chapter, one where he was free to be himself, unburdened by the toxic influence of someone who never truly valued him.
Section 7, the aftermath, picking up the pieces of self-worth.
Ending the relationship with Sarah was one of the hardest things I had ever done. I was heartbroken and emotionally drained. I couldn't believe I had allowed myself to be treated that way. I felt foolish and ashamed.
The road to recovery was long and painful, but Mark was determined to heal. He started therapy to address the emotional abuse he had suffered. He focused on rebuilding his self-esteem. He reconnected with friends and family who had been pushed aside. Slowly, he began to piece his life back together. Section 8, healing and growth, reclaiming personal power.
Through therapy and self-reflection, I began to understand the dynamics of narcissistic abuse. I learned about the tactics narcissists use to control and manipulate their victims. I realized that I wasn't to blame for Sarah's behavior. I was simply a victim of her manipulation.
This realization was empowering. It allowed Mark to forgive himself and move on. He learned to establish healthy boundaries in his relationships. He regained his sense of self-worth. He emerged from the experience stronger and more resilient. Section 9, recognizing red flags, lessons learned.
My experience with Sarah taught me valuable lessons about love and relationships. I learned the importance of recognizing red flags early on. I realized that love shouldn't be about control or manipulation. It should be based on mutual respect, trust, and understanding. I vowed to never again ignore my intuition or compromise my values for the sake of a relationship. I learned to prioritize my own well-being and to surround myself with people who genuinely cared about me.
Section 10, hope for the future, embracing authentic love. This chapter is about finding the strength within ourselves to move forward, to heal, and to embrace the love that we truly deserve.
Healing from narcissistic abuse takes time and effort. It is a journey filled with ups and downs, moments of doubt and moments of clarity. There are days when the pain feels overwhelming, and nights when the loneliness seems unbearable. But my story is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. By confronting my pain, seeking support from friends, family, and professionals, and allowing myself to feel and process my emotions, I began to see a glimmer of hope. I started to understand that my worth is not defined by someone else's treatment of me. And committing to personal growth, I engaged in activities that nurtured my soul. Meditation, yoga, and reading self-help books became my sanctuary. These practices helped me reconnect with myself and rediscover my inner strength. I was able to break free from the cycle of abuse. It wasn't easy, but each step away from the toxic environment was a step towards reclaiming my life. I learned to set boundaries and prioritize my well-being. I emerged from the experience stronger and more self-aware. I celebrated small victories and acknowledged my progress. Looking in the mirror, I saw a person who had survived, who had grown, and who was ready to embrace a brighter future. I am now in a healthy, loving relationship. This new relationship is built on mutual respect, trust, and genuine affection. We support each other's dreams and celebrate each other's successes. I am no longer afraid to be vulnerable. I have learned that vulnerability is not a weakness, but a strength. It allows me to connect deeply with others and to build meaningful relationships. I know that true love is possible. It is not perfect, but it is real. It is a love that accepts me for who I am, flaws and all. It is a love that grows and evolves with time. I am grateful for the lessons I learned. Each challenge, each heartache has shaped me into the person I am today. I keep a gratitude journal to remind myself of the progress I've made and the blessings in my life. I am committed to helping others who have been affected by narcissistic abuse. Sharing my story, offering a listening ear, and providing support to those in need has become my mission. Together, we can heal and find the love we deserve.